You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast, brought to you by Goosehead Insurance. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. My name is Adam and this is Chris, and today we're going to be talking about your pitch. Pitch, please. What do you do? How do you say it? How long is it supposed to be? Elevator pitch type stuff, and we're going to discuss why it's important and maybe some things you should think about when you're coming up with yours. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Adam.
Happy to see you again.
Great to see you, too. You're looking great today.
Thank you. Your mother gave me a haircut, and it turned out good. That was not in the way that you might think.
I knew where you were going, but even I heard that as like... Hi, Dad.
A little bit of background. Chris's mom owns a hair salon. So, yeah, she does a good job. Today's episode is going to be about your pitch, your business pitch. How do you sell yourself to a person before you even get to talking about the products that you're selling? Do you have a pitch that you use when people ask you what you do?
I don't have a specific script.
Okay.
I do try to keep it relatively short and simple as much as possible. I introduce myself. I tell them that I own a wedding DJ and photo booth company known as Milwaukee Underground Productions. We've been growing exponentially past few years. Excited to have more DJs, some exciting new technology. Kind of the summary that I give to people.
Sure. Awesome. My pitch specifically, it's kind of a generalized pitch, but it's just like, over the last almost decade, I've been doing home and auto insurance for a couple different companies, and now I own my own agency. I'm able to help out in most areas, so if you're looking to review your insurance, I'd be happy to help.
I like that.
That's it.
Short and sweet.
That's it.
You gave me the whole life story of the last 10 years.
Yeah, right. Right. 10 years of experience doing this one thing. You probably need this thing. Okay, cool. Let's talk about it.
That's great. You kind of showcase your experience. I'm an expert in this field.
Right. And that's it.
That's all you need
That's
to
my
do.
pitch. And then hand a business card. Business cards always got to be handy.
I like that.
So why is a pitch necessary?
Well, this is your first impression of a person. So in order for you to communicate your pitch a little bit better, there's certainly tips and tricks that you can use to communicate your message a little bit better to that person.
I do a lot of cold calling, obviously, in insurance. And with cold calling, it's about 10% of what you say and 90% of how you say it. So one thing you can do, you'd be like, hey, Susan, this is Adam with the ABC Company. Hope I didn't catch you in the middle of something. Do you have a moment? Generally, there's a pause, and then they say, and then I say, great. And I, got it. I'll be really quick. The reason for my call is, boom. And then that's how you cold call open somebody.
I like that. I like that pitch because you're asking for permission.
100%.
But not giving them a chance to say yes.
Right.
They haven't turned you away. So you found your opening.
Right. Even if they do say yes, I'm like, hey, I hope I didn't interrupt you in the middle of something. Even if they say yes, be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll be really quick. The reason for my call is, and then it doesn't fucking matter what they're doing. You got something you got to do. This is your job.
That's
and
great.
if they're in the middle of something and they can't, they'll just be like, I'm sorry, I got to stop you right there. I'm in the middle of something. Bye. Okay. Dial the next person. It's kind of just how it goes, man. I mean, specifically with, over the phone type sales or setting appointments over the phone. A lot of it is just how you say it, the tone in your voice. I certainly, often, unfortunately, have this tone in my voice, where it's just like, I'm tired. Kid kept me up all night. I haven't eaten a healthy meal in 3 years. And you can hear it, But if I sit up straight and I look in the mirror and I say, what do I say to make myself? I say, bitch tits. I just say it to myself to smile, get myself something to smile about. Like, what are bitch tits? What? Okay, don't say that to anybody. But I say that to myself, and it gets myself smiling. And then as soon as I'm dialing, they answer. And then when you talk with a smile, you can hear it.
Yes.
I'll give an example. Hi, Susan. This is Adam with Goosehead Insurance. I hope I didn't catch you into something. Do you have a moment? Or, hi, Susan. This is Adam giving a call with Goosehead. Hope I didn't catch you in the middle of something. Do you have a moment? Totally different, right?
I like the second one.
Right. Same words, but the second one provokes like a little bit of an emotional response. You're like, oh, well, this guy's happy. Well, now I'm happy too. Let's see what he's got to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you say talking with a smile, giving your pitch with a smile, this is specifically kind of over the phone stuff.
Yeah.
But even, next to a person or something, try and smile, try and have that sound in your voice. Like this isn't exciting, but I'm excited about it. You know, that's kind of what you got to do.
Oh, that's great. I couldn't see you at like an in-person networking event, and I just see you kind of turn away from someone for a moment. And you're like, jack tits. All right,
Yep.
I'm ready.
100%. 100%. Salty nuts. Okay, let's go. Because
great.
a good pitch has to balance the business and the emotional side. Because without it, it's just going to fall flat. And then it's immediate, like, okay, what do you want from me kind of thing.
Right.
Do I want to give my finite time on this earth? And do I want to give any of that time to you? No, generally not. It's that's the first thing. I got to convince them to give you that time. It's kind of difficult to do, but when you practice it, smile and practice it, it becomes something that you're just like, oh, this is just what you say when something like that happens.
So since you've been doing this for over 10 years and probably 2 years on your own,
Yeah.
or about,
Yeah, in April.
what was your pitch 5 years ago, and what was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago, my pitch was, hi, I'm Adam giving a call at State Farm. Do you want insurance? It was kind of like that. It had a
Yeah.
little bit of Napoleon Dynamite complex in there. Not Napoleon complex, Napoleon Dynamite complex. I was unhappy. You know, I was not, okay, unhappy, it's a bad word. I was not excited for why I was calling them. I was not excited about the product I was selling. Yeah, I was getting paid hourly, you know, I get paid hourly with minimum commissions and stuff. So like, I don't give a fuck if I sell anything.
Yeah.
I answer the phones. I don't want to call out, you know?
Yeah.
But now over the last 2 years, it's obviously been a lot different. I'm doing a lot more outbound calling, and I have a different intention when I'm calling these people. My intention is to win your business, not to see if you're interested in the business. Like I want your business. I need your business. I need you to trust me enough to give me your business. You know what I mean? Because it's all about trust. Sales is trust. What did Michael Scott say? Business is the most personal thing there is. Business is personal. It's the most personal thing there is. Something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he's totally right. So when you're taking business advice from Michael Gary Scott, you know you're in the right direction here. Okay. But so like I said, you know, like, hey, I hope I didn't catch you in the middle of something. Do you have a moment? That's me understanding that I only have a few seconds to get their attention. And with that kind of question, you have their attention. Like, hey, do you have a moment real quick? What? If you're out on the street, people are gonna, you might get robbed or something like that. But over the phone, it's not so intimidating. Getting their attention, and then focus and momentum are your friends. You got to focus exactly on what your intention is. What getting out of that call? What are you trying to get out of that call? Their name and number. Are you trying to quote them right now and then? You have to tell them about why you're calling. So that's where you go. The reason for my call is, boom. You tell them what exactly it is. But keep that 10 to 15 seconds though. The reason for your call cannot be more than 10 to 15 seconds, because especially if you're talking to a millennial, they're on their phone while they're talking to you. So you got to really make it snappy.
Yeah. You're like, hi, I'm Adam with Goosehead. And they're like, unsubscribe. Like, excuse me, we're on the phone.
You can't say unsubscribe to me. Swipe left.
Excuse me?
And like I said, with my pitch, you know, I've been doing this for 10 years, started working for other agents. Now I own my own business. I told a story without really telling a story, right? I told you what my last 10 years of my life has been about, basically, in a way. But it tells a story. And when you tell us, people have been telling stories forever. You know, it's what humans do. We tell stories.
Yeah.
Because we know that our lives are finite. So we have to pass on the information and knowledge that we have to our spawn and the younger ones. And that's part of being human. People love stories. They like hearing about stories. And if it's a story that A, they can connect with, then that's even better. And B, if it's a story that sounds true, that's 100% better.
Authenticity is key as well.
Absolutely. Because a lot of people can tell when you're just faking it.
Right. And you're like, I love insurance.
Yes.
Like, inflection is so interesting.
And I feel like that was a lot of things that I struggled with, as I was not genuine with my pitch. I was not genuine with my intentions. And that's definitely changed over the last couple of years, doing it on my own now. Like, I have certain intentions and I am genuine. Like, this is what I've been doing for 10 years. And now I really want to earn your trust enough to earn your business and kind of go from there. Your business might be different. Your business might not be over the phone. It might be going to different companies or organizations or something to pitch yourself. In that case, it's entirely different then. There's a rule called the 10-20-30 rule. So if you're giving a presentation, this is specifically for a presentation, right? If you're giving a presentation, You don't want a slideshow, essentially. You don't want any more than 10 slides. 10, 20, 30. 10 slides. The presentation should not take more than 20 minutes. And the font you use should not be less than 30-point font.
I like that one.
That's the 10, 20, 30 rule. So that's if you're making a presentation, stick to those. And because it forces you to put the most important information in those 10 slides. You got to fit it in. And it's big words. So like shit, it's got to be minimum, right?
Right.
And if you throw pictures in there, that's even better. People love pictures.
Yeah.
So that's just a little thing that I've learned about when you're presenting something. And I don't really do that a lot. You know, I mean, I have in the past, going to mortgage loan officer places or B&I groups or something like that, giving a presentation. I mean, it's hard to give a presentation at home in auto insurance. Right. It really is. It's basically just showing pictures of a bunch of car crashes and be like, that's going to happen to you. All right. That's kind of what it is, man. Accidents happen all the time.
I got 2 words for you. You're next. Is that a threat? Buy my insurance.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. So telling a story and focusing on the benefits and why you bring value to either their business, their process in their business, their everyday general life. Mm-hmm. My value is essentially like bad things might but will happen to everybody. The point of buying insurance is that so that you're not alone when it does happen and the financial burden isn't entirely on you. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that sound like something that you might want to talk about a little bit? Very seldom do people be like, no, fuck you. I'm hoping the bad shit happens. And when it does, I got my trust fund to pay for it. Like, no, nobody says that, you know?
I got 13 candles I've been waiting to burn.
Yeah, no, life insurance is different because you get the fucking people in their 40s and older. Well, I don't care if I die. My wife's the one who's got to deal with that. And then you know what? The wife makes a fucking GoFundMe account that all of their bar friends have to pitch in to bury this guy. Mm-hmm. Buy life insurance.
The money donated into any one GoFundMe page for funeral expenses or anything like that would be, the premiums would be less on any life insurance policy. Oh, yeah. And your payout would be what?
It depends.
500 times more, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, what, you could max maybe 5,000 ish, maybe on GoFundMe. I mean, you can get more, but
oh right, yeah. But generally, 2,000 to 5,000 is what they're asking for. Unless you're Catholic, then it's minimum 12,000 because you have to pay for the fucking service, the funeral home the funeral home is really the expensive part, to be honest, because they do the embalming and stuff, and they prep it for the funeral. And if you are having a religious thing, then you have to preserve the body for the funeral, especially if it's an open casket, if you can. But, I mean, there's a lot of expenses that go into burying somebody. There really is. So knowing that, I turn that into an emotional pitch, and I bring value to it. Like, hey, man, I'm really sorry to bring this up, but, I mean, we're talking about insurance, but literally every person dies, okay? It happens. I'm going to die, you're going to die. It sucks to think about. We have a piece in our brain that scientists have discovered that we turn off that thought so that we can live our life without this existential crisis all the time. It's happened. It's true. Look it up. And the way life insurance works is when that inevitably happens, do you really want to leave the burden, that financial burden and the emotional stress that it causes to come up with all of that money to bury you, to get rid of you, essentially? No, nobody wants to do that. And if you think, oh yeah, I do, well then you're a piece of shit, go away. Nobody's going to be around to fucking bury you anyways. Bye. Anyways, that's my life insurance pitch. I've been doing it for 10 years, man. That's just what it is. You go to a married couple's house, you'd be like, all right, ma'am, can you just leave the room for a second, please? Okay. They leave, you look at the husband and be like, all right, you bring home all the money, right? Yes. Your wife relies on you entirely for her lifestyle, right? Yes. When you die, do you want her to go find another dude that's going to do that for her? Or do you want to set her up? Yes or no? You'd be surprised some of the looks you get from people. They get really pissed off. But then it clicks in their head. Yeah. Oh shit, yeah, she is gonna have to. Who's she gonna go to? They started thinking about that. Which one of my friends is gonna step in? You don't want that. So it triggers the emotional response. So anything you sell could essentially be turned so that it generates and provokes an emotional response out of the person. Like you, wedding DJ stuff. Like, so you're going to have your wedding, right? It's so crazy, so much stress, how much money goes into it, timing, planning. Oh my God. This is what I do. I help you get the timing of the ceremony and the party and the dinner up. We do it all. I have a template for you. It makes it easy. perfect music that you want, or I can suggest stuff. If you don't want to take that stress, I'll do it for you. I've been doing it for 5-10 years. Don't worry about it.
So do you want to trust that unexperienced DJ who might be 300 less, or
Right.
do you want to pay a little bit extra to have peace of mind?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a story about George Washington after he became president. I don't know. It's bullshit. It probably is. But after he became president, there was two people that were having a land dispute. So they called George Washington and said, "Hey, can you come and tell us where the line should be on our land?" So he showed up. He charged them like, I don't know, equivalent of like $300 or something like that, which then was crazy. He showed up, took him 15 minutes and said, here's the line. Why are you asking for so much? He goes, it took me 10 minutes to figure out this, but it took me 20 years to figure out how to do it. And that's why you pay professionals to do stuff. Plumbers and electricians, they cost so much because it takes a lot of time and energy and effort and money to get as good as you are. Use that as your pitch, you know?
Right. That's your value.
That's your value. That's your story. That's what you do to provoke their emotional response. Like I spent 20 years of my life, my finite life on this planet, dedicated to this craft, essentially. And I'm an expert in this field. You need help. I'd like to help you with this. Like if you do HR stuff and I need to hire somebody, hey, maybe I'll call you because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Stuff like that. And kind of just putting it back to them. But like, hey, you're an expert. If I needed this, I would come to you. So whether you're selling marketing space, ad space, whether you're selling socks, it doesn't matter. You can come up with a pitch that's going to provoke an emotional response. And because of that, the reason you want to provoke an emotional response is because people act on emotion and then they justify with reason. And this is everything, everything. Crimes of passion. Why does that happen? Because they act out of emotion. They can't justify it through reason because they did something wrong. But that shit happens because people act on emotion. It's humans. It's our monkey brain just flies off the handle when we have an emotional response. Good, bad, impulsivity. Is that the word? I think so. But that is completely an emotional response that we have to things. And that's why they put all the candy bars at the checkout aisle. And they get me every time.
Try to get you on that impulse.
It's actually nice when I have my daughter with me because she's like, Dad, can I have this candy? And then I'm like, no, I'm supposed to say no to you, which means I can't have one either. All right, fine. So then we both end up getting a Reese's. And
So anyway, she started asking.
Yeah, right.
I think what you said about that emotional response is pretty interesting. I don't believe each person has that same emotional connection. I believe it's broken down into 4 different personality types, which we could kind of take a deeper dive into at some other point. But the 4 different personality types that I always like to reference: Type A, the director, which is goal-oriented. They're risk takers and good under stress, most likely to be a business owner. Type B, the socializer, relationship-oriented. You're outgoing, enthusiastic. Type C, the thinker, detail-oriented, logical, and prepared. Type D, the supporter, task-oriented, stabilizing, and cautious. There's a lot of different qualities that fall into each personality type, but each personality type has a different motivational factor. The type A is going to be more value-based, based on numbers.
Sure.
They're the more logical thinkers. They like to leave emotion to the side.
Sure.
So if you're trying to use that pitch on a type A personality, it may not be well received. So it's just something in creating your pitch, know your audience.
100%, yeah.
Knowing your audience. That way you can make some variations to your pitch before you go hard on the emotional sell. That's my type. I like to leave emotion out of it. I'm more logical. I'm numbers based.
True.
So that's when you try to throw this emotional story, it kind of like, ew, you're gross.
Right. I could care less about your life, bro.
Yeah. But if you tell me how your net worth went from X amount into this year, and you're telling me that about your financial struggle, I'd be like, oh no, now I see it. Now I see it. But just important to know your audience. Try to tailor and craft that message towards the personality type. If you can see you're getting a good read or a bad read off of someone, feel free to switch it up.
And that's the thing about sales, selling yourself or selling a product, is it's so psychological. It just is.
You got to be quick on your feet.
You have to be.
You have to be fast.
Right. So maybe preparing a pitch for those types of 4 personalities you just mentioned, preparing a separate pitch for each one of those, keep it under 30 seconds, but explain, you still, regardless, you have to explain who you are, what you do, and why it might bring value to you. That's basically the 3 pillars of the pitch. So even somebody who is more calculated and doesn't care about emotional stuff like that, like I can still have a value. Be like, okay, you like numbers. How much do you pay for your car insurance? Is it a lot? Do you feel like it's a lot? Do you want to see if you can get it cheaper?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. There's no emotion there. It's all about numbers.
That would definitely connect with them.
Exactly. Right. Right. But then there's people like me. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not motivated by numbers. I don't care about the percentages and blah, 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 blah. I don't. Mm-hmm. But I definitely connect with people on an emotional level a lot more so than anything else. Mm-hmm. And it works for me sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work for me because I don't take the time to read the room or read the person that and when I do it over the phone, it's kind of difficult to do that anyways. But yeah, I'm definitely more the emotional type person. Mm-hmm. Where somebody tells me the story of what they're doing, why they're doing it, how long they've been doing it, stuff like that. I'm definitely more interested in that than the product you're selling me. Like, we can talk about that later. Like, let's get to know each other first.
Right.
You know?
And I think that's important too. A lot of people value that personal connection first. Like you said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think that authenticity, the trust that's building, it's like, hey, show me you can be friends with me without having to sell me something.
Right.
If we can get over that hurdle, then maybe, hey, I'd love to do business with you.
Right. Right. And I mean, that's kind of the best thing. Show me that we could be friends without actually being friends. Go millennials. That is funny. But basically, if you're selling something, you have a product that you want other people to buy. So you have to find out how your product is different than other people's. You have to assess what value you're bringing to that person's life, professional life, personal life, career, dating life, whatever. You have to find a way that your stuff that you're selling, whether it's yourself, like you're an advisor or something like that, or you're selling a product like insurance or springs, anything like that. You have to come up with a reason that your stuff is better than everybody else's. And that, I think, is the hard part. But it's just about finding out your value, who you are as a person. How do you combine those into something pretty, kind of thing? I mean, and that can be difficult, no doubt. It really can be, but it takes practice. It 100% you have to practice your pitch
Right.
in the mirror so that you can see yourself smiling, so you can see if you make stupid faces when you're doing something. And that way, when you practice it, it takes out the
It gives you confidence.
So much confidence, so much.
Removes all the rambling.
Right, right. And if you're confident in what you're talking about, that's going to either appeal to the type A person because they're going to be like, oh, he's an expert. He probably knows exactly what he's talking about. No emotion there. He just knows what he's talking about, and I can respect that. Or you get the emotional person who goes, wow, he probably took a lot of time to think about this. I like that. You know, he's practiced. He is getting me. I feel like I can be myself with him. And that's cool. That's perfect. But you got to kind of be a little bit flexible with it.
Right.
Right. So being flexible with your pitch is probably one of the most important things, but developing a pitch that can be flexible is the hard part, but that's your homework essentially. Develop a pitch that can be flexible and then practice it in the mirror. Practice it to your spouse, your friends, because if you're embarrassed to say it in front of your friends, you're embarrassed to practice it and like role play that aspect of it, it's just going to be so much more hard.
Right.
I mean, every sales job you ever do, there's role play involved.
Right. And be open to feedback. That is critical.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Be open to feedback. People, even if they have no idea what the hell they're talking about, they might say that, well, you know, you kind of sounded like this. But like, well, don't get upset. Like, this is just, that's how you sounded to this person. So tailor your pitch a little bit differently so that when you meet another type of this person, it's not going to come off like that.
One of my former bosses told me perception is reality.
Sure.
And that's each person's perception creates their own reality. So just be mindful when you're creating your pitch and delivering your pitch and modifying your pitch that not to take it personally, even though it's business and everything is personal, but be open to that constructive feedback because that's only going to help you improve. Sure, it might shake your confidence a little bit, but after a while, you're going to find what was wrong. You're going to correct it. You're going to make it even better.
Absolutely. And practice makes pitch perfect.
That's right.
Oh, I like that.
Practice makes pitch perfect. I think it'd be like a blockbuster movie. A woman who can like juggle cups and do like a fancy
No
beat
one
to
would
it.
watch that. That sounds terrible.
You sure?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to watch that. I mean, what, like college girls or something? A cappella groups? Get the out of here. That's not what we're talking about. Anyways.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Fuck you. So that's why I sell insurance and I don't sing. Thanks for your time, everybody. I hope you learned something and enjoyed this episode of this podcast today. If you have any feedback, good, bad, or otherwise, definitely let us know. If there's a topic you'd like to hear us discuss and fumble over, definitely let us know. Other than that, have a great day.